Hello, I'm giving a little tour of my Minecraft town. It's called New Monaco and it's been built by me and a few friends of mine that hang out on here. So, starting off in the middle of the town. This is the first building that we built when we spawned just over that way. And it kind of set the design for the rest of the main area. We settled here because there was horses, and horses was why we had started the new world. And this was built as a little stable to contain various animals. So this is our donkeys and a mule, a few different horses, and it's also where we slept for the first few nights until other arrangements had been made. Opposite the stables, there's our smithy. We also have Zombie Gonzalez, the first baby zombie to spawn. He spawned in full gold except his boots, so I gave him some shoes and a sword, and we boxed him in here. And here we have my smithy design. We had some zombies spawn inside this chimney a few times until I filled it in. Downstairs, what? One of my dogs is teleported down here. This is the access to the mines, which I'll share in a little while. Yeah, I have a few dogs that just hang around here and tend to teleport wherever they want. We've got Fluffy, Baby. Around the back here we have the other one, and then the one downstairs is the other baby. No points for guessing who his parents are. There's also my other dog, who is called a name tag because Bam Bam did not understand how name tags worked in Minecraft. This is my little tavern. It's got a little beer garden out the back, nothing terrifically interesting, and a sort of roof terrace which does have some rather nice views over the town, and of course the water wheel. Opposite we have the library, nice little reading alcoves. Upstairs is a little conference room, meeting room, and the librarian's apartment and office up here. A little bit pokey, but perfectly livable. And an attic for storage. To eat something. Really should have brought a horse for this. Down this way this is our tree farm, which serves as a sort of park. We also have the reed farm. This is my pirate ship. I built that as part of a prank on one of my friend's houses, and I liked the design too much to get rid of it completely, so when he asked me to demolish it, I moved it over here next to the yacht club, which is probably my least favourite building. I'll probably rip it down and redo it at some point. No peasants allowed, but we should be fine. Inside we've got some nice artwork, the flag on the floor and on the wall. And down here we have the little docks, the boathouse. I know how to work doors, honestly. This is one of Monk's houses, like Erin, who plays with us. This is built out of natural caves, she just lined the walls. It's quite a nice environment. I'm not as good at interiors as she is. I do the outsides of buildings. This is the market, which was a kind of communal project. I built these horrifically huge lamps that turn on and off when the sun sets and rises. This is Galheri's patented audio asphyxia machine, which has some predictable results. Oh, I broke the wall. It wasn't actually built by Galhero, I built it, I just put his name on it because I knew it would annoy him. Animal pens, we've got our sheep, Welsh girlfriends, annoying noises, the cows, which are all nicely tied up inside, and my chicken coop, which is currently overflowing with eggs. It's always overflowing with eggs, we always have far too many. This is my, I had a really terrible chest in a cave, and I was like, oh, this minecart chest is so awful. I pushed it off towards lava. It hit a block on the way down, and when I went down to push it further, I found that the block it had hit was gold. So I built this little monument to it, and then someone knocked it off. Not naming any names there. This is Monk's little general store she just built. I think it's based off her house in Skyrim. It's a nice little shoppy place. This is my railway. It's a functional railway that goes to a couple of places off in that direction, well, I'll be going sooner or later. This is my fully functional level crossing. When the cart goes across, the door is shut, and eventually it'll get to the other side, and it'll open again. Little station for our, this is our equal rights mill, decorated, someone redecorated the blades of the mill, so it is now the Gay Pride Mill. This is my farm design. There's a lever inside the mill that drops the glass, and then all the water flows out, knocks all the plants down to here so you can pick them up. 1, 2, 3. I won't do it because it takes forever to replant and we don't actually need anything at the moment. And this is Truffle the pig, who knows her name. Over here we have my little trains. Dear. They must have come a long way to get there if they've got eggs. This is the... what are you doing here? It's a little train station for my lumber mill. I've got all this wood storage here. The different kinds of wood. And I built the actual mill in here, complete with the saw blade hooked up to the water mill. This area here is the spawn area. I built an artificial pond up there to feed this aqueduct that fuels the wheel there. Over here we have the future site of the first cave museum. This was our first home in this cave here. We had, you know, the chests and furnaces and everything that you need when you're starting out down there. And we've never gone terrifically far since. This is our, well, we have somebody who plays on here called Gilheru, or Konrad. He's Polish, and sometimes he doesn't pronounce words quite correctly. And he tried to say sandy beaches, and what came out was, well, I'm sure you can tell what this room is. Complete with disco lights, the pole over lava, little room for the staff, bar, and some private rooms. I spent far too long on this considering it's basically just a giant pun, but I'm happy with it. And if the world ever loads, this is my train station. Go faster machines. These are just dispensers full of speed potions, basically. They help you get around a bit quicker. We've got waiting room, little safe ways to get under the tracks. This line runs off through a train yard. There will eventually be docks down there, which this will connect to. I just haven't built them yet. This is the ticket office, complete with staff. And on the other side we have our little villager village. This is all artificially built. We actually brought the villagers from a different continent to this place. Iron golems. Lot of villagers here. I'm not going to stay too long because it is very, very noisy. All these chickens come from a device which I will show later on in my castle, which has been steadily filling the environment with chickens since I turned it on. Before we leave the village proper, there is an under village that I need to show. So, we've been in the tavern before. And when I connected, I had this music playing here. So that's just a normal jukebox, the discs go in here. But, if I play this particular record, the fireplace disappears. And you can get down here. I hear thunder and lightning outside. Not in Minecraft, in the real world, if you're hearing that. This is my under village, which I have built. First room is our nether wart farm. This is all automatic. You hit the button, water flows, knocks all this in. It is taken underneath the corridor and brought out into this room. It flows into this chest automatically through this. This is my potions room. The lab. Stuck in the sink. I also built these things. Hidden crafting tables. When you're standing there, you have a crafting table. When you're not, you don't. And we have these lab coats. Further down we have my office. These will be used to make a wither at some point when everyone's online. We haven't even killed the dragon yet, unfortunately. Scheduling issues mostly, we're more than capable. This is a very, very out-of-date map. You'll see it shows none of the village I've made up there. It doesn't show, it does show Sandy, whatever. And Gulharu's compound is in a very old state. I will update those at some point, but I've never bothered. Little seating area over here, except when you pull this lever, it's my hidden storage. It contains my fireworks supplies, some of the more valuable things like quartz. Oh, who did this? Like quartz and more stone and clay, all my redstone supplies, not all of them. I've actually got quite a lot of redstone supplies that aren't there because I've never moved them back after the firework display. And an empty chest. Lots and lots of wiring behind that. Oh dear. This is the wiring cavity for that. It's quite extensive. There's more to this place on the lower level, but I'll head down there by another route. First, we have this exit, which takes us out into the library. And we can get back in by doing this. And there's your entrance. Quite proud of that little door. There are a few different entrances to the loud zombies. A few different entrances to there. Down here we have this water drop, which takes you straight down into the mines. We have a nice little automated furnace here. This was all mostly done by Bam Bam. Oh wow, he's got a very long way. Over down here we have a skeleton spawner set up as a grinder. I won't bother showing that because it's nothing special and they've been done. This is fairly slow. I have some ideas for a better way of getting out of the mine. I did a little... Well, you'll see what I built. It's not exactly perfect yet. the interesting thing is that this also goes somewhere else. If you press this button, you arrive in the Undervillage. That resets everything. If I was to go out there now, I would just drop straight into the mine. This pressure plate does two different things depending on whether the button at the top has been pushed or not. This is the drop to my bank vault, which is very fancy. Lots of quartz used. I've got security here. We have lots of thunder outside. Behind this gentleman we have two security features. Number one, block entrance. Number two, puts a block across the drop down so that you can check the validity of anyone who wishes to enter. You need to move. Then we have this little waiting area with a water cooler and a little jukebox. This is the vault doors, which are currently sealed. The only way in is through this. So I have my passcode. That tone tells me I've done it right. All the locks disengage. And the door opens. Complete with fireworks. This is the bank vault. We've got our valuable things stored in here. And quite a bit used as a display. To reset this, just hit any button. On the lock screen gauge, and the door shuts. The wiring for this is behind here, and this is the lock itself. This took me quite a while. It's mostly based on stuff from other people's tutorials, but I had a few issues extending it. I had a few issues with the way I wanted to have it. I need to do something with these note blocks, because currently I'm not happy with it playing multiple notes when you hit one of the buttons. I'm going to fix that. This is all the stuff you hear. It's basically just pistons and doors and stuff wiggling around to make it sound like there's lots of locks disengaging. And then we have the actual wiring for the door itself. I've used this door design a couple of times on the server. There's another one at my castle. It's a good door design. It's I can't remember exactly where I found it. I've modified it a little bit to do exactly what I wanted it to do. But this is my vault. To get out of here, I'm going to have to ride the death escalator. This is version 2 of my way of getting out of here. Version 1 worked fine in single player, completely useless in multiplayer because even the slightest lag ruins it. This is version 2, which works fine, however it does have one drawback, which is why it's called the death escalator. The entire way up I'm being pummeled and suffocated, and then I end up here. Version 3, I know what I'm going to do. It will be perfect. It won't hurt you. It's going to give you money. It's going to solve world hunger. I just need to build it. I haven't done anything there yet. I have some ideas. This is my armory. Got a quartermaster here. Weapon storage is all down here. And these all equip you. If I take off my weapons and my armor. And then if I go into one of these, say I want to be a mage. I've been equipped with a couple of pieces of armor, I've been given potions to help my friends and to harm my enemies, and a sword. And then this lights back up when I step out. So, put these back. It took me a while to build these things. I had to build a design that was capable of being tiled next to each other without a gap in between, in order to get the amount I wanted to fit in the space I had. So, oh yeah, I haven't been back there in ages. I put stuff over the route I used to get in, which is unfortunate. Where's my chest plate? Right. Yeah, here we go. This is the design. The problem with it is I can't trigger the left side the same way I trigger the right side. Otherwise, it will interact with the one beside it. So what I had to do was have this strange little two-level thing where this side is triggered one way and this side is triggered another. I ran into a bug making this that meant the first design I built didn't work, where the bottom, this one, would only trigger the first time and then would never trigger again unless you broke and replaced the item that was triggering it, so the pressure plate or the redstone torch or whatever I had set up would only trigger once. Only when I had the rest of it. If I took all the rest of it away, it worked fine. When I put the rest of the wiring, it worked perfectly the first time, but then didn't work again. No idea why. It hasn't been fixed, but I came up with this next design that worked perfectly. In here we have, oh yes, the switches behind this painting. It opens our fire armory. This is stolen from the Mindcrack Reddit. BW used the same design in one of his builds after it was suggested on the Reddit. Down here we have the last two rooms of the underground section. First one is my police center and jail. Nice signs. This is the little interview room. There's a lever here that toggles the in-use light. That's a microphone if anyone's curious. This is the jail. Before I go down there, in case of escape, break glass. Seals the door and sets off an alarm. Some pretty simple wiring compared to some of the other stuff I've done. Some of these prisoners have stories. This first prisoner, Prisoner A, Galharu built a small jail. I spent a long time getting a zombie in it and then equipping him with some clothes so he looked like a prisoner. Galharu then took his jail away and killed the zombie. So this is the same zombie, well it's not the same zombie, but it's the same outfit in his cell. This chicken, when I'd only built the first level, I had all the wiring set up. Monk came along and filled it with chickens. One of the chickens managed to get into the wiring for the netherwort farm and laid an egg in the perfect place to completely break the wiring so none of it worked. So I took that egg and I made it into a pumpkin pie that I gave her, which is now on her wall. It's the pumpkin pie of peace after I got a little bit ratty with her. And this is the chicken in inverted commas that was responsible for that disaster. Here we have an iron golem, and we have a villager. The last room here is a torture room, and we have an execution device. It's a bit low. There we go. Lots of redstone blood on the floors. And this last room is one of my favorites. Everything I've built. This is my Arcanum magical library. I hollowed this space out with TNT. I did 2 blocks around each wall and the floor and the ceiling, and then TNT'd out in the middle. Contains one of our enchanting tables. The other one's down by the skeleton grinder. And you stand on the pressure plate, it raises up the bookcases. I'm actually fairly close to level 30, so I'm just going to enchant a book while I'm here. Oh yeah, it's not going to give me one that's exactly 28, is it? Let's try that. It's good enough. Fire aspect 1. That's not bad, actually. This is the spell storage. So this fire aspect is going to go in with my bow enchantments here. Multiple levels with a chandelier here if I go up the stairs. First level's is kind of lots and lots of book storage. The top level has more reading alcoves. And a little bridge. Ow. Yeah, these stairs aren't imperfect. I should have recessed them a little bit more than I did, but nobody's perfect. And once I'd done it, I would have to move the entire room to move the door, or I'd have to make the corridor smaller. Neither of which I'm terrifically happy to do. Right, let's go and visit my castle, and then I will head down to the other end of the village and into everyone else's houses.